Welcome back in, everybody. Welcome back in to Seahawks Weekly. Seahawks Weekly presented by Bud Light and brought to you by Harris Distilling's Batch Number 12 Vodka, Sparkling Ice, Legendary Donuts, and Pearl Seafood and Oyster Bar right here in Bellevue's Lincoln Square. Joining us right here, live on stage with us, number 16, Tyler Lockett. Tyler, how you doing, my man?
Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, we're great, man. We really appreciate you taking the time to join us. Take us back. Talk to us about the journey from Tulsa, Oklahoma, to Manhattan, Kansas, all the way to Seattle, Washington. What's that been like?
I mean, it was a long journey, but it's a journey that was much appreciated for me because I got to learn the ins and the outs. You know, my dad and uncle went to the NFL. I basically went to the same middle school, high school, college as my dad and uncle. So I was kind of the person who everybody looked at, and they was just kind of like, oh, he got to fill, you know, his dad's shoes and stuff like that. They didn't think I was going to be able to do it. And so, you know, people was calling me my dad's name, my uncle's name. I didn't really get people to call my name until I went to K-State and broke all his records. And so I ended up going to Kansas State, and at first it was kind of hard to be able to live up to the legacy. People kept on comparing me to both my dad and uncle and different things, saying he got the hands of his dad, speed of his uncle, all that type of stuff. And then, you know, I was dealing with all that, but I was able to let that go. I was able to be able to play to my ability, and then all of a sudden I got drafted to the Seahawks, in which people thought that I was going to Washington because it was a Washington number that called, but they didn't even call me. They ended up calling my mom. And so when my mom answered, they all thought I was going to the Redskins because the Redskins was on the clock. But it ended up happening. They didn't know I was going to Seattle until I said I was ready to be a Seahawk.
Yeah. Okay, so they called your mom. How'd they get your mom's number?
I don't know. You know, I should ask them that because they called me twice the week before the draft, and they had told me that they were like, is this the number, you know, to call you on for draft? And I'm like, yeah. And then all of a sudden they still call my mom.
Maybe the Seahawks were calling to get parental permission to talk to Tyler Lockett.
Oh, wow. I
Starting already.
I know where you're trying to go, but it's good. I got my jokes ready.
Oh, yeah, you're about to get roasted, right?
No, he's going to get roasted.
Oh, is that right? You got something coming for G. Scott?
This is usually what happens. You know, when people try to come at you, you pick one person to come at. That's how it's going to be.
And this is the guy, G. Scott.
He just might.
So tell us about, first of all, the roast that you're doing for Tyler Lockett and what it benefits and the whole thing.
The ICANN Foundation, that's going to happen. It's going to be at the Parlor here in Bellevue, December 18th. It's a Sunday. It's going to be the roast of Tyler Lockett. Michael Bennett's going to be on there, on the panel as well. Your buddy, Danny O'Neal, is going to be on there. So it's going to be a bunch of fun. And just so you know,
I can give you some stuff.
I have a wild card guest that I'm not even telling anybody.
I hope it's Doug Baldwin.
Yeah, I got a wild card guest and everything like that. So tell us real quick, how's the season going for Tyler Lockett? We all know you started off the season a little bit of a sore knee, kind of, at the beginning of the season. But, boy, we see you taking off now. We know that knee ain't sore right now. Tell us about the season, Tyler.
Well, I mean, it's been an interesting type of season for me. I think the biggest thing is I never really had a lot of the injuries as I had in my previous years of being able to play. So for me, it was kind of hard just to be able to deal with injuries and also to continue to play. But I wasn't going to let it stop me from sitting out games. You know, I refuse to sit out a game as long as I could walk. I'm able to play. And for me, it was hard because I wasn't able to go out there and do what I'm usually able to do, and so I had to figure out things to work with until I was able to get my speed back and my strength back and stuff like that. So it ended up being a hard process, but I enjoyed the process because now I could look back at it and see how far I came along within from week 2 to now being in week 13. And so I've overcome a lot. I learned a lot mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, all those things. I have family and friends to be able to help me along through this process, as well as teammates to be able to help me throughout this journey. And so as much as I wouldn't have wanted a season to start off like it did for me, I'm happy that it did because it allowed me to be able to see the bigger picture, experience some of the things that's going to help me throughout my entire career.
Yeah, you know, Tyler, unfortunately, I'm kind of an expert on overcoming injuries because, and you look back and at my age now, I look back and like I wouldn't change those things because it teaches you so much as a person and perseverance and all that. But for me, there was a point where, for a real serious injury I had, where it was like something clicked for me, and I felt like, okay, I'm back. I can pull the trigger and make plays. Was there a moment for you this year where you felt that?
Well, I mean, I felt whenever we had times at practice that I was able to be back. I mean, I know that I felt like a half a step off or stuff like that, but I mean, the Carolina game allowed me to be able to see that I'm kind of back to where I needed to be at, in order to help the team out, whether it was special teams or whether it was just on offense. And so I think the biggest thing was it allowed me to be able to see for myself as a confidence perspective that, you can still play this game, you still got this,
I'm going to bring you back to your college day. I've been to Manhattan, Kansas, all right? So when I was coaching, they used to send us, with Seahawks, they used to send us out for 10, 15 guys to go scout. And 2 years in a row, I got Manhattan, Kansas. Mm-hmm. So I'm telling you my story. I flew into Kansas City, drove to Manhattan. It's the first time I go, it's really flat here. Yeah. And then I pulled over, and they put me up in a hotel, nicest hotel at the time. This is back in the early 90s. And they put me up in the presidential suite, and it had red shag carpet, and it wasn't that great of a room. But so my point to you is Tulsa, Manhattan, Kansas, which is a pretty small town. Now you hear Seattle. I mean, is this, how do you adjust? And it's a pretty big city. Fans here crazy about you, Tyler Lockett. I mean, are you guys crazy about this kid? I mean,
I think you just made them clap.
No. I mean, you are the ultimate favorite. I mean, and you're kind of like, you're like the brother. I mean, they all want to protect you. But what's it like just from that trip, like you brought up earlier, now you're here in Seattle?
I mean, I'm a pretty adaptable person. I'm not the type of person that goes somewhere and is like, Mom, I need you to come down here tomorrow. Like, I miss my family. Like, I'm good at just being by myself and being able to learn by myself and stuff like that and grow as a person. Of course, I have my family to come out here and support me, and, I could go down there and see them at any time, but I also got to be able to grow into a man and be able to see what it's like, on my journey throughout the NFL and just throughout life. And so, in Tulsa, it wasn't really too much there, but, I mean, I've had so many friendships to where it started in 5th grade, and it's still there, and we've pushed each other to allow ourselves to be in a position to be successful. And so even when I went to Kansas State, it's kind of like I had my best friend come with me, and we were able to push each other in football and stuff like that, and he's about to leave this year and get ready for the NFL draft. But I think not being out in the limelight and stuff like that kind of protected us. Snyder didn't want us in the limelight. He wanted us to just be able to focus, be a team person, and stuff like that. And so that allowed me to be able to be successful. And so a lot of the things that he taught me there allowed me to be able to continue to use when I was here. So some people didn't believe the work ethic and the things that they talked about when I was at Kansas State until after they drafted me, they was able to see it, and they was kind of like, man, he really doesn't stop. He really does do this, and he really does do that. And it's credit to, Bill Snyder and his family, and it's credit to everything that I did to get there.
It's remarkable how long Bill Snyder, head coach at Kansas State's been. He was young when I met him back in the 90s. But is there any parallels between him and Pete Carroll?
No, they're a total opposite. Coach Snyder is more so a military type coach. He's like that type of person where he doesn't care how long you ran, you're still going to run 24, 26 sprints on a Monday's practice. You're still going to go out there and you're going to run every single play 5 or 6 times every single day, and it just gets repetitive. And sometimes you get tired of it, but the repetition, we do the repetition so much to where when we get into games and they call it, it's like we don't think twice. We know what they're going to run. We already know what they're going to do. And we ran it so much to where there's no dropping the ball. There's no making any mistakes and that's what allowed us to be able to outlast opponents in the 4th quarter because we practiced for so long. We ran for so long. We literally didn't have any legs. And so even as I can stand here and today and say like, oh, my body's aching, my body feels, weird and stuff like that, it felt way worse at Kansas State. So even when my body feels like it can't go anymore, I've been at a place literally at Kansas State where I was on E and I had to figure out how to make it through practice, then had to make it through a game. So the way that it is here on your body, it doesn't really faze me as much.
Joined here by Tyler Lockett here live at Seahawks Weekly. Take us into the wide receiver room. How do some of the veterans that have been there, the Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, how have they helped you prepare to be the good wide receiver that you are?
I think they helped me just with being able to understand my game, just allowing me to be able to see the type of person that I am and being able to take little things that he does, that Doug does and that Jermaine does, and being able to add it into my repertoire. I think that allowed me to be able to be successful because there's some things that Doug that Doug does that I could continue to do and be good at, and there's some things that Jermaine does that I could continue to work on as well. And I think that being able to sit there and watch how Doug comes off of releases, that's something that I could work on. Or seeing how Jermaine sets people up in his routes, like those are other things that I could be able to work on. And so, I mean, they've been in the league for a while. They know what it takes to be a great receiver. They know what it takes to be able to be a great receiver on the Seahawks. And we always say there's no job too little, no job too great. And so that's the one thing that I learned is it's not just about catching the ball. It's about being able to block defensive ends and block linebackers and safeties and to be able to run your route, not to get the ball, but to get somebody else open. And so you start to see the bigger picture, and it's not about yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing that they have allowed me to be able to see, especially coming from college where you're the number one receiver, you're the go-to receiver. Now you're on a team where anybody can be the go-to receiver. And so you got to be able to learn how to be able to understand the scheme of things and how to be able to get other people open as well and not just yourself.
Who makes a better car commercial? You, Cliff Averill, or Michael Bennett?
I would think me.
Yeah, I agree with you. You make a hell of a
They
car.
let me improv.
Did
so,
they?
Yes, I can do anything I want.
Did you have to
Okay,
prove?
I take that back. I can't do anything.
Yeah, I was going to
I
say,
want.
no, you can't take your pants off or anything like that.
Why would I want to do that?
I
Why
don't
would
know.
you go to pants, bro?
I don't know.
Oh,
you
that's
can't do
so
anything.
socially awkward right now. Oh, my God.
Can we take that off?
stop it.
Can we take that off?
No, we can't. Hey, it's
Pause
okay.
that
It's going to
day.
get awkward.
That was enigmatic right there, bruh.
Yeah, that was enigmatic.
Man,
I'll tell you what, it's
continue.
going to get a lot more awkward than this at your roast.
Whoa, there won't be anybody listening like this or just recording it.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to make sure somebody records
So
it.
if you say
and talk
something
about
like
you
that-
taking your pants off
If you
in
say
a car
that at the
commercial.
parlor, people might laugh, but here they might be like, what is this man talking
Yeah,
about?
this is going to be on Twitter. It's going to be on YouTube, the whole thing now. Now, tell us about what did you do to convince them to let you improv?
Man, I just told him to let me be me.
You seem
really,
like a
he
shy
just
guy.
let me do it. Like, when I get in front of the camera, I'm a whole different person.
Yeah?
It's hard to believe, but, I practice on my acting skills because I want
How,
to act.
how do you practice?
I just...
In the mirror?
No.
How do you
It's
practice?
just God-given.
Yeah, so, well, I know it's God-given,
You
but
don't have it. Don't worry. You don't have it.
I deserve that one. That
That's
was
number
pretty
one
good.
for the road.
He's getting tuned up for the roast.
That was
now.
pretty
Look
good.
at him.
But seriously, how do you practice your acting? Do you in the mirror, in the car?
No, I just sit there and I just watch the people do it on TV. So when I watch How to Get Away with Murder, I sit there and watch how Annalise is, and I'm like, man, that's how you got to be. So when you practice being mad at practice, make sure you make it believable. Like those things.
So who do you get mad at practice?
I'm really like a kid at practice. Like,
You don't say.
oh, I do say, like I'm like the kid. But the thing is, I gotta bring out the kid in everybody.
Yes.
I gotta make it a happy home.
Tell us this, Tyler Lockett. Tell us, what's your most memorable moment in football, whether it's high school, college, or pro? Just one moment.
I think it's more fun if y'all three take a guess.
If we take, what?
Yes.
Bruh, you getting interviewed, not us.
You can go first.
Your favorite moment?
Yes.
I'm gonna go last week because it's fresh. You all of a sudden you got that little quick bubble screen. You popped it past the corner, and I said, "Wow, his speed's back." That's the best I could come with in short notice.
Survey says,
Well, I figured that.
He just wanted to do that so bad. But go ahead. All right.
He's doing his improv.
He's
thing
doing,
right
yeah,
now.
he is. He's doing his improv. You can do really
You
good.
do think you're an actor.
You can do radio.
Look at him.
You can do our job.
no.
Okay.
Yeah, you could. I'm going to go the kickoff return where Pete ran into the official.
That's how I was gonna go.
No.
You're
That
not going
one?
to bong me?
Okay, man, we ain't got all night. We only got 3 minutes. Just tell us the most memorable.
Add 3 more minutes.
Look at him.
I got you.
He's getting cocky
I got
now.
you.
See? You
Oh,
gotta
look
take
at
him down
that.
a notch. You got to take him down a notch. What is it? What is it?
What is it?
Y'all didn't even say Pro Bowl.
Oh, it was a Pro
But you know-
Bowl?
No, it wasn't even that. So my most memorable moment was when we played against Frank Clark in the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl. I scored 3 touchdowns. I dropped the 4th one. But the most memorable moment was when I stood up on stage with an offensive MVP, and my best friend from 5th grade, Dante Barnett, had the defensive MVP, and we stood up together holding the trophy.
Oh, I never knew that. That's a
I
pretty
just
cool.
missed that one.
That
was the
best
next
moment.
thing I was going to say.
Yeah, you got like that close.
Yeah.
Last year, you guys played, of course, the really, really cold game, playoffs, Minnesota, the one Marshawn didn't get on the bus on. But that game in Minnesota, how did that game in Minnesota, that cold weather, prepare you for Lambeau that you get ready to go play at this Sunday?
Oh, my gosh. We will never play in something like that ever again. Like, that was ridiculous. But, I mean, we had to do it. You know, it's our job to be able to go out there and to be able to play in negative 22-degree weather. And so I wish they would have had an indoor last year like they do this year. But the biggest thing was if we were going to be out there playing, we had to make sure we was going to win because nobody wants to play in a weather like degree weather like that and then get back on the plane and head home without a win. So, I mean, it was tough. It was hard. It brings out the best of you because mentally it messes with you to where you really don't want to do this, but you know you have to, and so you got to really dig deep within to find it. But, I mean, going to Lambeau, the way that we look at it now is nothing is worse than Minnesota. So regardless if it's 22 degrees with wind, we understand that nothing's going to be worse than that, so we're ready for it.
It'll be 26, windy, and snowy, so just preparing you for that. Hey, let me take you back last year. They draft you, and people say, oh, he's our returner. You know, they kind of almost don't even talk about the receiving part, even though we're watching film of you coming out and going, my God, you see his routes and his hands? He's a receiver. This guy's not just a returner. So last year, your goals, this year now, and maybe moving forward, just your goals, how maybe they've changed.
No, see, my goals have always been the same because I never really was an accolade type of person. You know, I played football for God, like that was like for my faith, you know, and so my main thing was just keeping God first, like keeping him at the center, because like when you get caught up in trying to like go to the Pro Bowl or go to like get all these accolades, like you start doing things that's like not common to your nature, and so, you know, I want to be able to do things and to be able to have like this little, I want to be able to focus little on the little things. I don't want to focus on the big things because when I focus on the little things, the bigger things come. And so I try to just focus and not allow things to get to me. So when I usually write goals down, I be so focused on making sure like I accomplish them to where it literally will kill me if I don't get it. And so I want to just like allow myself, and what we talked about with the Seahawks is cut yourself some slack. And so I kind of look at it like if you keep God first, like I did in college and everything else will work itself out. And therefore, I don't have to sit here and write down what I want to accomplish. I could just see what I can accomplish.
Joined here by Tyler Lockett here on Seahawks Weekly. And Tyler, before we let you on out of here, tell us, why does Richard Sherman pick on you so bad, both on the field and off the field, at the VMAC and everything? Why?
I'm the only one that can get under his skin.
Really?
No, I don't. I mean, it's like literally I will sit there, because I'm pretty much like him. He's just like better than me, you know, when it comes to arguing. Because I'll sit there and argue with him and say how I feel or whatever, and then he'll come back, and I'm like, yeah, I'm about to win, and then he uses a big word, and I'm like, come on, bro. Like, I ain't got that Stanford education, right? And that's when he usually beats me, but I've been having a lot of good comebacks lately, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, usually people do that because they love you. You know, they call me the little runt. And so, you know, I'm cool with that. But it's like I said, when they're around me, you see them all smiling because I bring out the little kid in them.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. You always give your buddies that you love the most heat. So you're about to feel a lot of love at this roast that you're having now.
Yeah,
maybe too much love.
Might be a lot more hate in the picture.
I don't think anybody hates you, Tyler.
Or,
no.
I don't know. We'll have to see at the
All right,
parlor.
I can't wait to hear some of the material that you're going to have for some of these guys that are roasting you.
Well, you know, if it's not funny, then I'm going to just go sit down.
Are you roasting people, or are they roasting you, or is it back and
They're
forth?
supposed to be roasting me, but if it's too good, then I'm going to get up there and start talking.
You get the mic last, right?
You get the mic
last. I will go, and every person that laughs in the stands, I will be talking about them as well.
Wait, no, you can't. You got to leave the people alone. You can't do that.
I think you're going to bring out an ugly side.
I think
Tyler,
so, too.
We don't.
No recording, because it might get a little ugly.
Tyler, real quick, we got to let you out of here, but in high school, bro, you had 54 tackles and 6 interceptions?
Man,
you used to play defense?
No, bring it
Sleeping
on.
me.
Really?
Yes.
You can play defense?
Yes. I could lock up at corner. I used to play corner at practice last year in one-on-ones.
How did you do?
Protect the team. And so the times that I want to go for the ball, I got to just let the person catch it.
Ah, protect the team.
But yeah, I like to guard people. I can guard people. I can run with you, of course. Like,
We're down to safety.
no, that's not my job.
I'm just saying.
I can't do that. I got to stick to return.
I got one thing for you, though, for the roast. You should go find the 50 toughest vocabulary words that you can find and throw them at Richard Sherman.
He's going to be there? That's your wild card guess?
Oh, no, never mind.
Oh, wow,
No,
thank
no,
you.
I didn't know
I
that.
appreciate
no,
that.
No, he's not. No,
It's all right.
It's all right. I didn't even
no.
know there was a roast, so I know nothing.
No. Hey, Tyler, man, we really appreciate you for joining us for Seahawks Weekly, man. We wish you all the best of luck this Sunday, but more important, the rest of the year and all through the playoffs, of course, as well.
I appreciate that.
That's Tyler Lockett, everybody. Really appreciate him for joining us. Coming up next, we're going to have Max Strong join us right here for Seahawks Weekly.